What's up, everybody? This is Ovie Mughelli, and you're watching Believe in Falcons. We have an amazing guest today. So this is a brother I've been chasing around for years. Since he joined the Falcons, I've been saying, hey, come on the pod. Hey, love to have you on the pod. He's like, I'm going to try. I'm going to get there. And I get it. He's busy. But we have been chasing him. We finally got him. The Terry Fontenot, the man out there in the kitchen, cooking up some stuff, bringing the ingredients, making sure we have the people and the pieces we need to win games. So there was a time early on where they used to laugh at us, say the Falcons have the least talent out of any team in the country. I mean, they had several lists where we're out here talentless. And that's because we didn't have a GM doing what GMs are supposed to do, which is bring those players. Terry's done that. And not only has he done that, he's given us some chances, especially this year, to be a playoff contender and, dare I say, a Super Bowl contender with the most important position, the quarterback, that's finally been addressed. Not just addressed once, addressed twice. And that caused a little controversy, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So I want you guys to hear something special. We got Terry Fontenot right now. Betline is your number one source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on the game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online. The game starts here.
I respect you, and you know how much I've always respected you as a player and a true old school thumper. But obviously you were athletic and versatile and all those things, man. And so love you as a player, love what you were about. And so anytime you need me, anytime you want to talk to me, man, I'm always here.
It's something to where, you know, I had the great Ozzie Newsome over in Baltimore, you know, one of the great GMs, especially one of the first great African-American GMs that was given a chance to actually manage the talent, evaluate the talent, and bring together an amazing team. You know, as you're well aware, I got a chance to play with the number one defense in the NFL. It was a great and terrible thing because going from Wake Forest University, where I was a first team, All-American fullback, All-ACC fullback, first fullbacks drafted, true fullbacks drafted in the 2003 draft. I'm like, I'm about to go tear it up. I'm about to go handle business. I'm about to show the NFL what I'm about. And I got Ray Lewis, Peter Boulware, Adelius Thomas, Bart Scott, Ed Hartwell, Ed Reed. I think Sarah Gusa might have still been there. It was just like, gosh dang, every single day it was me and Musa Smith, University of Georgia running back.
Yep.
We were the scout team fullback, scout team tailback. These fools gave us like 5 seconds to see the play and said, all right, y'all go run it. So I'm trying to get there and like navigate my way around these monsters to get to Ray Lewis and Peter Boulware and getting my head taken off. But either way, you know, Ozzie put together a great team. You're putting together a great team with the Falcons. It's something that just as a fan now and as a former player, I'm impressed. I appreciate it. I know that all this talent's going to come together, but I hate to, you know, keep on going back to the same well, but it's something that we got to talk about. Your pick during the draft, going for Michael Penix, knowing that you had Kirk Cousins. Now, you know, between me and you, I think it was a genius pick. And on this podcast, Believe in Falcons, I actually called it the Monday before the Thursday draft. So I was talking to our co-host Will and said that, you know, players don't want to see a huge need and not see that need addressed. My mother's always big about overcompensating. If you know that you have a huge need and if this position is not addressed 1,000%, then you won't have a real chance to compete. You overcompensate. I feel like that's what you did. You made sure that you didn't have a solid guy, but you made sure you had a solid guy for years to come. And that's why I said he's gonna pick Michael Penix. And they called me crazy, Terry. They said that's not going to happen. They said, why would they do that? They just gave Kirk all this money and blah, blah, blah. I said, no. Hey, as a player, I've been on teams where, you know, we had Kyle Bowler in Baltimore, bless his heart, but he couldn't get it done. There were days when, man, Ray had to be held back because we would hold a team to like just field goals and we can't even score a touchdown. And so the quarterback position was so important. And it was just the players just like, come on, get it done. Put somebody in there to make our efforts not go to a waste. And you did that. But enough about what I was thinking and how great I was. Make the choice. Let's talk about how great you were to make that choice. When you were deciding at the last second to choose Penix, knowing everything I talked about with Kirk Cousins, what was going through your head?
Yeah, well, look, you have a unique perspective in it. It makes a lot of sense for you to totally understand, and not only understand but anticipate the move. Because okay, you look at your experience, you were with the GOAT, and Ozzy's the best to ever do it. I have so much respect for him, and anytime he's ever talked or anything he's ever said, I've always read it. I was always obsessed with him growing up in the business. And one thing that he always said, and with one of Baltimore's mantras is, hey, today's surplus is tomorrow's necessity. And so you can never feel like you have enough in any area. You always want to take really good players and continue to build. And so that's Ozzie. And then you look at your experience, and yeah, you've been without that. You've been without a quarterback. You know how critical that is. And then you were able to be here in Atlanta with the beginning with Matt. And I heard you say at one point how you knew right away, as soon as Matt got in the building, you could see certain things, the way he talked, the way he carried himself, that, okay, we got one here. And again, as a player, you know how it is, where it doesn't, when you have the right quarterback, it not only raises the level of that offense and the people on that side of the ball, but it raises the level on the defense, the special teams, the kicking game, the coaches, everyone. No one wants to let that down when you know you got that position right. So it raises the level of everything. So to your point, we did. And we, the cardinal sin is to underinvest. If we're sitting here right now, we underinvested in that position, then everyone should have an issue with that. But we did. We overinvested in the quarterback position, which is the most important position in pro sports. Not the most important position in the NFL. It's the most important position in pro sports. Because if you don't have one, then you can't compete. I don't care how good all those other areas are, you can't compete. And it really, truly raises the level of everyone in the building. So when we went through the process with obviously with Raheem Morris, and when we hired Raheem, and we're excited to get in the right head coach, and we knew that was priority number one. Let's find the right quarterback, and a unique opportunity for Kirk to even be available because of the injury, because of all those factors. He was available, so we did everything we could do to get Kirk and to get him signed, and that was critical. And we're very aware of his age and where he is in his career. We know he's going to be a good player for us right now, and so we didn't stop evaluating the college players, and we knew that there could be an opportunity, whether it's in the first round or later, mid rounds, wherever it is, there could be another opportunity to get a quarterback. And when, Ovie, you have that opportunity to take a player that you have that kind of conviction on, if you truly believe, then you can't pass that up. There's no way, because we know that we're not going to be in that position in the coming years. With Kirk and the team we have, we're going to win a lot of football games, and we're going to be picking a lot later in the first round. So you're not going to have that opportunity. You look at what happened this year with the quarterbacks and how fast they went. And you even look at the investment that teams make in quarterbacks, just the significant investments, whether you're talking about San Francisco several years back with Trey Lance, or just look at the trade for Russell Wilson, or you can kind of go through a lot of them, or Deshaun Watson. You're talking about multiple first-round picks, and that's the norm because it's that significant to get a quarterback. So we're in a position this year to take a player that we truly believe in, that we're really excited about. And so now we can have the right quarterback for right now and the right quarterback for the future. So that's what's really exciting, and you just don't pass that up. There's nothing there's nothing else you can be looking at on the board. Again, if you have that level of belief and that level of conviction in a quarterback, and you believe he can be a franchise quarterback, then you take that pick and you sleep good at night. And look, I'm just coming off the practice field, and it's fun watching all the impressive things that Kirk's doing on the field, seeing Kirk in the building and the way he operates, the way he carries himself. It's been really impressive. And again, seeing Penix be able to see that and see Kirk is a master at the way his process, the professionalism, the way he goes about everything that he does. He's a master at it, and he's one of the best in the league at in terms of his process. And so for Penix to be able to see those things and to see that, and then when you're at practice and you see all the impressive things that Kirk's doing, and you see the young buck that's doing some really good things too, that's really exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking about Kirk, how did you have that conversation with? How did that go? Because I'm sure it wasn't a fun conversation. And I've heard, and obviously more than anybody else, that he was aware that quarterback might be picked that draft, but he wasn't sure or aware that it's going to be picked the first round. And people were calling me saying, "Oh, Kirk's gonna be pissed off. He's gonna be upset. He's gonna, throw a fit." And I'm like, "Did you watch the Kirk that I saw at the quarterback at Netflix special? That man's special. Like he reminds me a little bit of Matt Ryan, to where he has that competitive spirit. He's worried about what he's doing. He's not going to become some sort of like diva wide receiver. He's not like an Ocho Cinco of quarterbacks that's going to be like, this guy, that guy, they did this. I'm going to throw a tantrum." That's not what comes off of me when I see Kirk. And I had a chance to meet him for the first time in person during the Falcons draft before you guys picked Penix.
Yep.
And we spoke for like 10, 15 minutes in the green room before we went out. And just as nice as seems on TV, and that, when I played against him when he was younger and I was a little bit older, when I did shake his hand middle of the field, just always a stand-up guy. But I'm sure no one wants to have their replacement picked right there in front of him. But how was that conversation with him, breaking it down about what you guys are doing and the direction you were going?
Yeah, and without sharing the specific private conversations, Kirk is special, like you said, and so he does. And I know he's addressed it and talked about his feelings and all those things. But Kirk he's a true professional. And so if you would see the very next day, throughout the week, and where he is now, just the process and the way he attacks everything, from the way he's locked in the meeting rooms, and it's really there's an obsessive nature to the way he prepares and the way he goes through his process, and the way he is in the going through the rehab process, continuing that, and what he is in the weight room, what he is on the field, the way he attacks everything. That's his mindset. And you look at Kirk, and a lot of people don't. Raheem pointed this out in the team meeting the other day, and I heard a couple of players kind of address it, that it's all about opportunity. And when you have an opportunity, you have to take advantage. And you just look at what Kirk did. Kirk, he was the second quarterback drafted by the team in that draft. And as soon as he got an opportunity, he took it and ran. And obviously he was very successful there, but nobody gave that to him. Kirk earned it. He earned everything. He's made a lot of money in this league, and he's earned every penny. He was a really good player for Washington. In Washington. He's a really good player for the Vikings. He's going to be a really good player here. And the person that he is, it supersedes everything about him. We love the physical talent, but we knew when we brought him in the building, we were bringing in the right kind of person. So anything in his life, any challenge, any obstacle, he handles it the right way. And it says a lot about him. And I know he has a strong faith in the person he is and the family guy that he is. So it takes that. Look, we love our quarterback room, and part of it is the makeup of it and everything that Kirk, the way he's built, the way he is, and Penix too. Again, another strong faith, strong family, real values, and with this organization, you were here, our owner and the core values and the way we operate, and it's the person, the people are so important, and we all have certain things. We have certain jobs, and we have jobs to do, but it's about being the good people on and off the field, and that's who Kirk is. That's who Penix is, and that's why we know this is going to work, and we're really excited about it.
Man, you're excited. I'm excited. I've been this excited for a team in a long time. And me and my buddy Will have been doing this podcast for a while. And every year we try to, like all fans, we try to have a positive disposition, and you want to be optimistic, but sometimes it's hard to be optimistic when you got what you got. But now with this group of guys, with what you've assembled, it's impossible not to be excited. But one of the things that I'm also excited about is the culture. That the culture is so important, because when I came to the Falcons in our first year, we had Bobby Petrino, and we won like 3 or 4 games, and like the culture in that locker room, I was here, and I'd just been given an $18 million contract, and I was elated, and I got 5 guaranteed. And so like me, I was smiling every day. I was just happy, but I couldn't really enjoy the season. I couldn't really enjoy football because the culture was so toxic. You guys have the exact opposite of that. And Raheem Morris is a big part of that. Like, what were you guys trying to be intentional about when creating this culture? Obviously picking the right people like Kirk and Penix, but what else are you guys trying to create here when it comes to changing the culture with the Falcons?
Yeah. And so it's cool. Me and Young Wei Koo were just kind of chatting about some different things. When you've been in some different areas, you've been on different teams and different coaches, different players, we're specifically talking about one of the things that makes Raheem really special is there's extremes in this league, right? You can have cultures that it's really loose and it's really laid back, and that can be frustrating for players like you players like Jake Matthews or Grady Jarrett or Younghoe Koo, that can be frustrating, right? Because you're doing everything you can and you're every possible thing that you can to be a good professional and to win championships. And then when you look over and someone's not doing everything they can and they're not getting held accountable, that can be very frustrating for a player. So then you have the other extreme where it's so you don't even enjoy going because it's so like tough and hard, and every time you take the wrong step this way, then you're getting hammered for it. And so it's the other extreme. And then there's that right balance. And that's what's special about Raheem is he's the right balance. Everybody is really excited to come in the building, and it's a fun environment, but everyone is working at a high level and competing at a high level. And there's an expectation and a standard that everyone has to live up to. And Raheem is very direct, and he'll have you stand up in the room, and he'll be very honest with you and direct and say, this is what's expected. You're not reaching the expectation. This is what we need. But he has a unique way about himself to be able to call out someone and be honest and be candid, but he's also empowering you in the right way. And he's also positive, and he truly loves and cares about these players, much like Zach Robinson and Jimmy Lake and Marquise. And I can go through all our coaches, but it's because it trickles down. But when you truly love and care about people, and you know that, hey, it's our job, everyone in the building, to make you the absolute best that you can be. And we're going to give you absolutely everything we can to do that. Our owner with everything. And I don't know if you've been in the building lately, but it's going to be really cool once we open up training camp, because we're going to have a brand new weight room and a brand new locker room and a brand new dining hall. And it's exciting. And so we'll give these players everything they can to be successful, but then they have to come in every day and give absolutely everything of their self and make sure that they're doing everything they can do to be a good teammate and to really push and challenge each other. So that's it. Raheem has that unique way to consistently challenge, be honest, be candid, but also empower. So we are the right balance, I believe. We have a lot of guys that are working really hard to bring those championships here that our fans and everyone here deserve. But also, it's a really, really fun environment to be in.
Man, I want to just go back in time a little bit and jump in there and play at the stadium, play under Raheem. You guys look like you're having a great time. your receivers, they've obviously got to step it up with such a great quarterback in the room. But I want to talk about one specifically. Like Kyle Pitts was the darling when Matt Ryan was there, and he came in, and it was such a dominant force. And obviously, he hasn't seen that dominance in a while because of injuries, some other things. Him and the receiver room as a whole, like what are you guys trying to push out of them? What are some of their goals they're putting? Because I just feel like it's a shame to have Kyle not going off every single game with some of the physical talents that he has. But there are people who, wonder if he can get back there. I think with Kirk, he definitely can, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So like you said, he comes in with Matt and has a really good year. Then he has a really serious injury in year 2. And then last year, he really fought through that thing. And a lot of people didn't see the behind the scenes and everything Kyle was doing to get on the field and to go out there and play. And it was challenged, but he prided himself in the fact that he didn't miss a game. But now it's fun. Again, I'm just walking off the practice field and he's out there running around making plays. And it's really fun to see. One thing that Kirk did right when he got here is he went through and studied. And again, he watched every one of Kyle's targets going back to Florida, Drake London, going back to USC. Like he really studied the players and watched a lot to where to know in terms of building that chemistry and knowing how they want the ball and what they're more successful at. He did so much work on that. And you see the chemistry building on the field. It's really cool between plays to see him talking to Kyle and to Drake and to Darnell Mooney and Ray and Rondell Moore and all these players, because they don't want to let Kirk down. They want to be exactly where they need to be, and they want to and Kirk wants to put the ball exactly where they want it. And it really, like we talk about, raising the level of everyone, even defensively, because if there's a player open anywhere on the field, Kirk's going to find them. So it raises the level of Jesse in the secondary and everything that everyone else has to be.
Wake Forest. Yeah,
absolutely. But Kyle has been in this building every single day, and he's obsessed with every part of it. And he's really excited about Kirk, about the players around him, and it's exciting when you with our offensive line and then with the run game, and then with the players that we've been able to add. It's really exciting, and it's fun to see them work together.
Absolutely. Well, it's a huge honor to be an all-pro running back for the Falcons, and I hope to welcome another all-pro running back for the Falcons. It's in your locker room, Bijan Robinson. I think that guy could be an all-pro, a Pro Bowl.
Imagine if we
whatever.
had you as a lead blocker for him, dude.
Man,
Just imagine
it would be fun. Like, I'm more about the big, pounders like Jamal Lewis and what's his name, Michael Turner, and these big guys. But Bijan, he can kind of do it both. I saw last year a couple times he stuck it in there, and he had more power than I expected with his small frame. But some of the moves and the highlights that he puts on, it's like he's a constant highlight reel. And with that guy, similar to Kyle Pitts, he dealt with some injury. With him being healthy and him being able to really go all out this year, like, what are your expectations for Bijan?
Oh, so excited about Bijan, and he even we talk about the makeup and how passionate he is and everything he does. He didn't even take a break after the season, and we had to pull him back, and he kind of dinged up his ankle because he was just going so hard and didn't really give himself much of a break. And so you got to hold a guy like that back, and that's what's fun about it. Really, this whole team, when we talk about makeup and guys like Tyler Algier, and they're so driven and just like he's so passionate with all the God-given abilities that Bijan has. He's got a rare humility about himself, and he's excited and ready to take off. And the offensive line, it's like I look out my window in whatever phase we're in, looking out, and this is the first time where we can all be together, and they're down there with Kirk and doing a walkthrough or whatever. And what they do after they do their training, they take their shirts off, and then they like to ground, so they have no shoes or socks on. I'll text you a picture. It's funny, but they're just, so you see these animals just walking around with no shirts on and and they're just getting after it, man. And when you see them line up and they're in the huddle and they get in the 3-point stance, that's who you want to run behind. That's who you want protecting you. It's really, really cool. But Bijan is, man, he's excited. He's chomping at the bit. Again, not only him, but Tyler. And with our offensive line, we know we're going to have a really good run game. And then we know we're going to have, with what we're going to be able to do with these skill positions in the pass game, it's going to be a fun offense to watch.
I mean, I could talk offense all day, but I got to go to the defensive side of the ball. Those dogs at the end position, Grady Jarrett, my guy. I see Grady all the time in the community. Saw him at the rally on the runway a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. Amazing human being, but just a devastating middle, defender for your defense. But everyone's talking about, oh, you missed out on picking a defensive player that we needed by getting Penix. You wanted to win down the line. We want to win right now. We needed a defensive stalwart. How are you able to kind of make up for that, for not choosing a defensive, stud to go out there and help right now? What were your plans to not just make do what we have, but to accentuate what we have to have our defense be what it needs to be?
Yeah, and you definitely weigh that out, Ovie, because obviously there are some good corners, pressure players. There's some good players on the board, and you really had to weigh that out and look at, okay, we can get what we believe is a franchise quarterback, or we can take this particular player. And so when you're doing that, again, at the most important position in sports, and it's not just about the position, because if it was just any other quarterback, then we could have went another direction. But when it's the most important position in sports, and we have true belief in Michael and his ability to be that franchise quarterback, that's why we made that decision. But we also we drafted more front seven players than anybody in the league. 40% of our draft was on the defensive line, and so we really, that was number one in the league, and we really leaned in that area. And we added some big athletic dudes with Rook and Brandon Dorless and Big Zion. We added some big physical athletic players. Obviously, Braylon Trice on the edge. We really like what he's done some really good things out here already. And then you look at where we are with the team right now with Grady Jarrett and David Onyemata and AK. We know he's going to have another jump this year. He continued to show ability and show growth last year, and he's had a really good offseason. And Lorenzo Carter, and we've got some real cool pieces up front that a lot of people they don't get enough credit. Like a guy like Caden Ellis, and when Caden played on the outside in New Orleans, he had 7.5 sacks. And this is a guy that can actually rush, and he can do some different things. and Troy Anderson, he can go. He pulls the
Yeah, he
trigger, he
can.
can go. And obviously Landon. So we have a lot of good pieces. And we're excited about the secondary too. With obviously AJ and
Jesse
everything
Bates.
AJ's been,
Yeah.
Jesse and DeMarco and Richie's having a really good offseason, and Clark, he took one to the house just a couple days ago. He took the ball away a lot in college, and we were seeing him getting his hands on balls, So you have these OTA rules, right? Over, that you get to a certain point, and this is more of an offense, right? You have to, you can't touch it. So defense, when you get to that point, you got to pull up and let him catch it. And it's so hard for Clark because he wants to make every single play. And sometimes he says the heck with it and just picks the ball off. And so, but we've seen some really good things. All that said, though, we're always going to be aggressive, and we're always looking at other areas to improve this team. And when you draft that franchise quarterback for the future as well, if you have the quarterback for now and the quarterback for the future, now what that allows you to do, Ovie, is we can be aggressive if something comes up and there's an opportunity to bring in a player wherever it is, at whatever position, that's going to really help this team significantly. Then we can use significant draft capital to go and get that player, because you don't have to hold back that capital trying to prepare to get a quarterback at another time. So we can be aggressive. So we're excited about the players here, but we're going to be very aggressive moving forward, whether it's leading up to the season, whether the season starts. When one of those opportunities comes up that makes sense for us, we'll be aggressive.
Man, hey, well, I was aggressive. I'm trying to get you on this podcast, Terry. I'm glad I finally got you. It took 3 years, but hopefully it won't take 3 years to get you back on here, because I've been one of your biggest fans. I tell our co-host Will that in Terry we trust. He's like, well, I don't know about that. No, in Terry we trust. I don't know about that. In Terry we trust. Like, Fontenot's got to handle, and you've done a great job so far in giving this team more talent that it's had in a very long time. And all I can say is best luck to you, brother. I'll see you around some of these games, and hopefully, Kirk told me it's going to happen. I said, I need a Super Bowl. I know I can't be in the front float, but give me in the back float. I just want to be in the back float waving with the alumni.
Let's do it, man.
He's like, I got you. I'm going to hold you to that. So I'm trying to get a Super Bowl ring for you guys. I can live vicariously through you, because the city needs one. You deserve one. We all deserve one. So let's do it.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. Look, Ovie, really appreciate you. High respect for you. Like I said, anytime you need me on here, I'll be here. I love the Believe in Falcons. That is great. I love it. I need a hat or a shirt, Believe in Falcons. But yeah, look, you have a unique perspective from playing in the league and the things that you've seen, the things you've been around, and I always appreciate your perspective, man. And we're very excited right now about where this team is. Can't wait for everybody to be able to see it once the season starts, man. So appreciate you, and I'm here anytime you need me.
All right. Thank you so much, Terry. Appreciate
you, brother.